welcome back to the Pittsburgh Sports Saviors. It is Friday, November 17th. Lee, how are you doing?
I'm doing all right, bud. How you doing on this nice little Friday night?
Yeah, doing pretty good. I'm glad we waited a little bit to do our podcast recording for this week because the Ravens and Bengals played Thursday night, and it ended up being pretty eventful, especially injury-wise, as Joe Burrow, it's been reported now that he's going to be out for the season.
Yeah.
And the same for Mark Andrews. So
for the Ravens,
both the Ravens and the Bengals got big key injuries last night. And the Ravens got an easy win as it ended up being. They're now 8-3. The Bengals now are 5-5, and they face a season with Jake Browning as their new starter for the here on out. Any thoughts on that game? I don't know how much you got to watch, but
no, I didn't get to watch too much. Yeah, I didn't get to watch too much of it. I did see some highlights. It looks like Lamar might be actually a little hurt too.
Yeah, he was hobbled that whole game. He has an ankle injury for sure. He played through it. I don't think he missed any snaps, but he's definitely going to be falling through it. He went to the blue tent and that probably got a new wrap on his ankle or something. But yeah, he's not 100% for sure either right now.
Yeah, and it's gonna. I know we play the Browns this Sunday, and then we got the Bengals next week. So, depending on how this Browns game goes, I mean, the AFC North might be up for grabs right now between the Steelers and Ravens. I really think. But it's a shame to see key players get injured like that. You hope for a nice recovery from them, but this might actually pave a little bit of an easier way for the Steelers moving forward.
Yeah, I mean it's a little crazy what's been happening. I think since the last time we recorded, the Deshaun Watson injury came out too. He's out for the year also. So that's another one, another guy who's gone. And I remember we talked last week about how many AFC North teams are going to make it to the playoffs, and I think that's been tossed into the air now with the injuries. Obviously, the Ravens, I still think now at 8-3, I thought they were going to win the division, and I'm still standing there. You had the Steelers taking over. Anything you saw or heard last night change that pick for the Steelers?
I still think we have it just with Burrow being out. We play them twice.
Yeah, 2 more games against
them. Playing against a quarterback that's not an elite quarterback. I mean, I know that our defense likes to play against quarterbacks like that. Yeah. So I think we have an easier route there, especially with Deshaun Watson. I mean, the Browns have a good defense, but now they don't have a quarterback moving forward either. And with Lamar Jackson being a little bit injured, and who knows, how serious his injury is. And I mean, us having the Ravens number, I mean, I really think we can still win the division. I really do. I don't think anything's changing with that. I mean, we might not have a better record than the Ravens, but I think we're still going to win the division.
Yeah, the quarterbacks down the stretch, it's changed dramatically. We have Lamar one more time. We have Geno Smith, and then I guess we can give Kyler some credit. He's a little bit established. Those 3 guys are the only guys that you look at on there, and it's like any threat. The Browns, last week I talked about them not making the playoffs. I think with this Bengals situation, their chances of making it might have improved a little bit even without Deshaun Watson. But they'll just be creeping in there with a strong defense. I can't see them going anywhere far in the playoffs. And now there's no way the Bengals are making it in my eyes now.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. Yeah.
He's way too important for that roster. So, I think the Bengals are done.
I think so too. And again, with Mark Andrews and the Ravens, having that key tight end right there, probably their biggest playmaker being down. I mean, Lamar's going to have to look for other options. I know Odell Beckham has been picking up the past couple games for the Ravens,
he really stepped up last night.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, from what I saw from the highlights, and then the game prior, he looked like he was doing well. He had a really good game as well. But I don't see the Ravens having too many big key playmakers besides, their big one, Mark Andrews, going down for the season.
Yeah, he was definitely the comfort blanket for Lamar. Now they have, I think it's Isaiah Likely is the backup. Yeah, Isaiah Likely is a backup tight end. He filled in a little bit last night. It seemed like him and Lamar were a little off weren't on the same page a few times on a couple routes, but I don't know too much more about him. I think Zay Flowers will be important for them going down the stretch. He'll probably get an uptick in production. And they still have a solid running game. So I still think their offense will be all right, but it's going to be way different come playoff.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be a lot tougher to figure it out.
Sure.
Just this happened in the past with them where they've fallen apart a little bit. I guess we could move towards talking Steelers-Browns, though, for this week.
I got a little something real quick I just wanted to share. I know the screen's going to take me out, so just bear with me real quick. I saw this earlier today, what the over-under is for the game. So just 1 sec. I saw earlier today that the over-under is 33.5 for this game. Steelers and
it's low.
Steelers and Browns. Yeah. So I saw that today. Again, it could change come game day, but that's what Vegas is saying for right now. 33.5 is the over-under.
Okay, yeah. I think the spread last I saw may have been for the Steelers. Let me double check right now. Yeah, I know it's Cleveland minus 1.5 right now is the spread.
Oh, okay.
So that even it is in Cleveland, so that makes sense. I think 1.5, even with the quarterback change.
Yeah.
There's a couple injury updates. I guess we can go to is that Montravius Adams is out, Keanu Neal is out, Minka is going to be out. We already know about the linebacker situation. Quan Alexander going to the IR. Pat Freiermuth, it looks like he's leaning towards coming back, so that'll be a big uptick for the offense. I think, even though at this point he hasn't had too much of a season. Hayward's back. I think we're past the point of having to talk about him injury wise. I think he's good to go. We talked about the Browns missing out on Deshaun Watson for the rest of the year. So the Browns will have Dorian Thompson-Robinson starting this week. This will be his second start.
I wanted to pull up real quick the trade details because I still think this is crazy for the Browns. The Browns have received Deshaun Watson, and the Texans received 3 first-round draft picks, a 3rd-round draft pick, and a 5th-round draft pick for Deshaun Watson, and he hasn't played. I think he's only played about 12 games so far in the 2 seasons he's been there. It's insane, you know what I mean?
I know Will Anderson's one of those players already that the Texans have gone from that. And then next year, with Deshaun being hurt again, I mean that pick might be in the top 15 or so. I would say there's a good shot that they can make another pick. And they got C.J. Stroud. The Houston Texans might have a little bit going coming up soon.
They look like I think I saw the latest playoff picture. They're the 7th seed right now.
Yeah, they've been playing great. I think another one of the guys that got in that trade, where one of the draft picks was Tank Dell, who's a rookie receiver. Has been good. There's a couple other names, but going back to Browns Steelers, I expect it to be a low scoring game. You said that over under is 33. I still might go even at that low point. That would have like a 17-16 score or final score would be a 30. They're expecting it to be low. I can see that too. We've talked about it before. Mike Tomlin's record against rookie quarterbacks is amazing.
For sure.
That will come into play here today or this week in Cleveland.
We won that. I think it was week 2, week 3, week 2. I think it was that Monday night game.
Yeah, I think it was week 2.
Yeah, we won. I think it was 26-22 was that final score, I believe. And,
it was a sloppy game, I know, offensively. Our defense really pretty much won that for us, I'd say.
Yeah, I think that's how this game's going to go again in Cleveland. I think it's going to be defensively, another defensive game as well. In Cleveland, it's a division game. You got teams that don't like each other, so there might be a lot of flags. I want to say real quick that I was happy to see that there wasn't as many flags in that Green Bay game as we've seen with the Steelers. and I'm hoping they continue that. But again, with the division game, you just never know how it's going to go.
Yeah, it's all dependent on these refs these days too. It's just it's what crew you get, and some of these crews just they want to be part of the show. And the in baseball, they talk about they call it an ump show whenever they just got to make it about them. They got to throw someone out the game or something. We got to find a term for refs and football. That
the
are
NFL.
do the same thing.
So
the big problem the Steelers are going to have, I think, is with the Browns defense, which has been amazing this year. The good sign for the Steelers lately has been the run game. They've seemed to be creating an identity, and I think this will be the first big test on for the new run game, the new offensive line here this week.
Yeah, I think because you got one of the best defensive edge rushers, Myles Garrett, in the game. You know, you got to look out for. I know that the defense, our offensive line has been doing a lot better with the blocking, but he's still one of the best right now. You know, if not, you know, some people can even say he's the best right now playing. You know, off the edge. I mean, he's just that talented of a player. You know, so. And
the other guy that's in that argument, of course, is T.J. Watt, and he has 16 sacks against the Browns in his career.
Wow.
Yeah, and I know there's like a head-to-head comparison between Garrett and Watt, and in games between the Steelers and Browns. They both played 11 games. Garrett has 7 sacks, 16 QB hits, and 3 forced fumbles. T.J. Watt, 11 games, 16 sacks, 28 QB hits, 1 interception, 1 touchdown.
Wow.
So, looking just head-to-head, Watt's had a lot more.
More of an impact.
Yeah. And I mean, and looking at we had Ben for a time period doing this, but I don't know. It was towards the end of Ben's career, so I can't even say for sure that you can argue that that's because the Browns offense has been so much worse than the Steelers offense. I don't think that's been the case over the last 5 years when these two guys have been in the league, really.
I don't think so. Yeah. I mean, it's still one of those rivalry games, though. I mean, you know, again, it's players that don't like each other, it's teams that don't like each other, and you know, but we've definitely owned the Browns, I'd say, over the past 10 years or so. But you know, past few years of the Browns have kind of, you know, taken some wins against us, but you know, I still see us as a better team than the Browns.
Are there any other takeaway or anything else you want to discuss about the game before you move on to predictions?
I hope that our running game, this, like you said, this is going to be the biggest test so far with the Browns defense. I think they're ranked with like giving up points. I think they're like 3rd with like giving up points right now on defense.
The Browns have been great this year defensively.
Yeah, and I think, you know, this is going to be the toughest test so far with playing them in Cleveland, especially with seeing how things have improved since the bye week with the offensive line, the running game, and that. I don't see this as a high passing game for either team, but it's definitely going to be a running game for sure, and it's going to be a defensive game. That's what it is. It's going to be a tough one. I'm hoping that, you know, we can come out with another victory here in Cleveland.
Yeah, I'm feeling you. I was just thinking as you're talking, with Watson out, that it's the first game he's going to be out for, and a lot of times teams are hyped up a little more whenever they lose a big guy, a big part of their team.
Yeah.
So I can see them coming out and especially in the first half being a little more electric than we expect. And if we get too far behind, it can be rough. I know Kenny loves coming back in the fourth quarter, but this might be a defense that you don't want to be behind for too long with.
Yeah, for sure.
And I honestly could see the Browns just coming out and running the ball 3 times each, just go run, and see what happens, because the Steelers' defensive line hasn't been great to stop for the run, and we have no linebackers.
No.
I guess that is something we can talk about. Is I don't know if you saw there's reports that Miles Jack might come back in. There's mutual interest between the two teams. So
I saw that.
That would be in the future, not this weekend, of course. But let's wrap up our talk. What's your final score prediction for this week?
I really want to say that it'll be a higher scoring game than 33.5. I'm gonna go 21-17 Steelers over the Browns.
21-17. Okay, you've been not perfect, but you've been pretty close to perfect in predictions so far.
Yeah.
I do think that the Steelers defense will play well. Hopefully they know that they're going to stop this run. I'll go 20-9 Steelers. Will be my
okay. All right. That's
what I'll go with.
I like it.
But yeah, let's wrap this up here for that talk, and we'll move on to our.
Real quick, do you have any standout players, real quick, for the game?
Oh, standout players. So last week I tried to say Pickens.
Yeah.
It didn't turn out too well for me. This week I'll stick with the running games. I'll say Najee is a good game. I'll go Najee as the MVP for this week.
I'm gonna go out on a limb here, and I'm gonna say this is gonna be one of Kenny's best games.
I'd love to see it. That'd be very very good to see.
Yeah, I'm gonna go out on a limb. I'm gonna say this is gonna be one of Kenny's best games of the season.
There we go. Okay, so yeah, we'll come back and we'll give our mid-season grades for the Steelers so far, position group by position group. Okay, Lee. So I figured we can go and look back at our quarter of the way through the season grades and those up now that we're midway through. And I guess we'll start with the quarterbacks here. If you recall, we graded after week 6. We made our grades. I had Kenny's play at a D, and you have a C minus. How you feeling about those grades now?
I think he's improved to a C.
You got him at a C now? Okay.
Yeah, I'm having him at a C now. I've definitely seen some improvement since the bye week. Not enough touchdown passes, not enough passing yards to the receivers. He is getting more time in the backfield, but we haven't seen much of the passing game from him. But he has definitely improved with his playmaking on, on the drives that he's doing. Still a lot of 3 and outs, but I think he has improved to a C since the bye.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I think I'm going to go C, maybe leaning towards a C plus. But we've talked about it a few times. I think the city is turning on him, but I'm watching the games. I think there's been improvement from week 6 till now, and maybe it's not good enough. Maybe it hasn't been good enough. Of course, but that's why he's getting a C. It's not because we're not throwing out these great grades. So anyone that disagrees, I mean, you're not going to get anything better for this season. Maybe you decide in the offseason to change it up, but at this point, he's your quarterback, and you're just going to have to deal with it one way or the other. Mitch isn't the answer. We've talked about before.
No.
Mason's not the answer. And I've seen the improvements, even while the city seems to decide that now that he's not the guy. Any thoughts on that?
No, I agree. I think the city has turned on him a little bit. Mitch and Mason are not the guys moving forward. But I've seen some improvement. He's still a second-year guy. I think there's a lot of room for improvement as well for him. I think that after the bye, maybe they all got an awakening, and maybe he's done a little bit better with the film watching and seeing where the plays need to be made. And I think he's only going to go up through the rest of the season.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. So next up, we got the running backs. Both of us went with a C after week 6. I think that they have been. Oh no, that's not true. They're the group I think's improved the second most so far this season will be the running backs, and now I'm going to give them a B. I'm going to push it back up to B. Especially the last couple of weeks, they've been amazing. That last game, I think we're starting to build an identity as a good running team. Both backs had decent games. Both had a touchdown. Warren got over 100 yards. I think they're a solid group.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with a B. Everything that you said is what I was going to say. I mean, it's great to see us now having some type of, like you said, offensive identity. I love that we got to over 200 yards rushing in that last game. I haven't seen that in a while. Najee has definitely improved since that bye week. Jaylen Warren's been good. And, it's just good to see them getting a lot more plays. And, they're pretty much equally matched on, running the ball, each game.
Yeah.
And definitely got to thank the offensive line for a lot of blocks, but there's been a lot of open holes, and they've just been getting in there to make some big plays on the ground.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I guess we can move right on to the receivers. I had them at a C, and you had them at a C+. How you feeling now?
I think I'm going to keep them the same. It's been nice to have Deontay Johnson back, but haven't seen too many big plays. Again, a lot of the ball isn't being thrown over the field. But with Deontay Johnson coming back, the field has opened up a little bit more. They're not just focused on George Pickens. Now they're focusing on George Pickens and Deontay Johnson. So not too much double coverage going on, but haven't seen too many flashy plays like we'd like to see. There's only been a few throughout the season. But I think the wide receivers is one of the areas that needs to step up throughout the rest of the second half of the season. I think they will. I just think they need to just get back into the swing of things and just get over the little bit of hump of frustration that they're in right now.
Yeah, I'm going to keep my grade too, just like you. I had that C. When we did those, it was we were only a C because of Pickens. He's fallen off, but like you're saying, Deontay Johnson's replaced his production, I think. So you got to keep on a C. If Pickens can figure out what's going on the last few weeks and he can improve a little bit, we can go back and try to improve that grade a little bit, I think. Okay, next up we have the tight end position. There's not much you can say here. After week 6 we had D's. Now, I mean, you have to give them an F. They've been non-existent. A lot of that you can say is because Freiermuth got hurt, but even before then we had him at a D for a reason because he wasn't doing much either. So I'll stick with I'll downgrade to an F at this midway point.
Yeah, I agree. We haven't seen much. I'm hoping that with Freiermuth coming back, if it's reported that he's coming back this week, I'm hoping that we can see some improvement with him. But I haven't seen any key plays from any of the tight ends this first half of the season. Haven't seen anything. I think maybe the most I saw was this last game. I think it was Hayward's brother had maybe 2 catches that were like out routes, quick out routes. I think that was all I saw.
For who he is,
Yeah, but I haven't seen much.
The only pushback someone may have is I think Washington's been a pretty good blocker so far. He's been moving a couple people around and stuff, but I don't know enough about I haven't seen it myself to be like, oh yeah, it's not popping off the screen for me, so it's not going to overcome the fact there's no production at all. So this I alluded to it a little earlier. Next up, we have the offensive linemen. We both gave Fs. I think this has been the group that's been most improved so far. These last 2 games, especially, the sacks have gone down. I think Kenny's like 25th.
I think so, yeah.
And running game's been showing up again. So I'm going to go with a C+ now. That's how far ahead I'm going on them. I think they've definitely improved, and I think there's something to look at that is sustainable. We saw a change to Broderick Jones, and then there was improvement. It wasn't just like, fluky, here we go. That's why they're just good again. There's something behind the improvement. That's why I'm willing to go all the way up to a C+ now. How you feeling?
Yeah, I'm going to go C. I've definitely been a lot of improvement. Again, Kenny's had a lot more time in the backfield. The running game has improved. There's been a lot better blocking. So we've definitely seen the running game improved over the past couple of weeks. The sacks have gone down, like you said. That is the group that I picked last week was going to improve, and they have. And I think they're just going to continue to get better. I think, like you said, this is the big group right now that needed to improve, and they have been, and since the bye week at least. And I think they're only going to get better as well. I'm going to go with a C for the offensive line.
Do you prefer Lee Stradamus or No Stralemus as your nickname? You've been on fire the last couple of weeks.
Lee Stradamus, we can do that.
We'll go Lee Stradamus if you keep it up.
That works.
We'll move over to the defense, I guess. We'll start with the let's start with the interior defensive line. Last time around week 6, we had C for me, C+ for you. How are you feeling right now about the defensive line?
I'm gonna go C-. I'm gonna go down a little bit. They've been giving up too much running up the middle. This first half of the season. You could attest that Cameron Hayward was injured for a good bit of that time, and there wasn't much there to plug up any holes to stop the running game. But we've given up too much on the ground, the running game. I haven't seen too many plays by the interior defensive line, but I think they're okay. I think with Cameron Hayward coming back now, I think they're going to get better. But this first half of the season is definitely, I think they've downgraded to a C-.
Yeah, I'm going to follow your lead on that. I'm going to go C- too. Like you said, Cam Hayward coming back should make a difference. I love Keanu Benton so far. I think he's looked good. He's shown flashes of being a good player. I think that's a really good pick that they made. Montravius Adams is out this week again. Or is it again or not? He's out this week, we'll say.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
He hasn't done much to impress me personally. And like you're saying, a lot of the other parts of the defense have given up yards, but the run game's yardage is the most alarming to me, especially coming up against the Browns. That's going to be tricky to see what happens there because they've had a great run game so far. And
even without Nick Chubb being there, they still have been really good.
I'll go C- with hopes of improvement with Cam Hayward, Benton getting more experience. Let's go to the edge rushers. Last time around we had A-. No, we had A's for both TJ Watt and Highsmith as the starters there. I have no reason to change that. They're still an A for me.
No, not at all. I think they're right now. I think they're the best edge rushing duo right now in the league. I think they're the best. TJ is just unbelievable. Alex Highsmith he's phenomenal as well. When TJ's blocked, Alex is there, and when Alex is blocked, TJ's there. So I think they're the best. Is A. You can't. I don't think they're going to be stopped. I think they're just going to get better.
We've talked about other duos during the season, but there's no way you can compare it. They're the best one right now. We talked about the Chargers, but they haven't played. Khalil Mack hasn't had that great of a year. He had that one big game, but really he's been pretty quiet overall, I'd say. So that makes sense for me. Next up, we'll go interior linebackers. This one's tough. There's been a lot of injuries lately.
Yeah.
We had them at a B and a B+. How you feeling right now?
I think with the injuries and how, again, with a lot of the running game given up, I think I'm going to have to downgrade them to a B-, maybe a C+. Again, that's one of another areas where I haven't seen too many big plays going on. I mean, Holcomb went down, then, Quan Alexander came in, and then, Quan went down, and then now, I'm not sure who's going to be in there now, but, I know that the Steelers do draft good linebackers, and, we're pretty good at that, but I don't know if whoever we put in as the backups are going to be as good as Holcomb and Quan Alexander. But I haven't seen too many big plays that we want to see. So I'm gonna downgrade him to a B- C+ area.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with you. I'm gonna go C+. That run game, what you look to your linebackers to stop the run, and the way they've been giving up some runs, that's why I knocked them down from that B I gave them. I think your B+, you were counting TJ Watt and Highsmith in there too. So
yeah, I think so. Yeah,
a little higher than you were thinking at the time for the interior linebackers, because I've kind of switched up the two things here. Yeah, they're gonna have to get real creative this week. We talked about Miles Jack. Maybe he comes back, but he's not going to be ready right away. And I mean, he decided to retire, so he wasn't feeling too great about football at the time. So we'll see what happens. Maybe we can get a little spark. I remember it's a little different, but I remember. You remember Harrison coming back out of retirement?
Oh
randomly?
yeah.
Maybe we can get something from Miles Jack like that.
Yeah, it'd be nice. That'd be nice.
Some minutes, like we're talking basketball, but some reps. Next up, we got the cornerbacks. We both had them at a D. How you feeling now about those guys?
I think there's been some improvement only because of Joey Porter Jr. So I had them at a D, but I think I'm gonna have them at a B right now.
Okay.
Joey Porter Jr. has just been such a great improvement. Yeah. We've talked about in the past the penalties that he's had, but I think he's just been he's been a very key component to the secondary. Again, the secondary is still giving up a lot of passing yards. It's another area where we're just getting torched. Jordan Love came in this past week and just killed us over the air, but I think that he has helped that secondary step up whoever he's guarding. I don't think, they've gotten too many big plays. Patrick Peterson made another nice good play. I haven't seen too much from him, but he did make a nice little play where it was a tipped interception to one of the safeties for us. So that was nice. But we still have people missing open tackles when they should be tackling. But I think the corners have improved because of Joey Porter Jr.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I'm going to go B- though, but trending upwards. Like you were saying, Joey Porter Jr. has just been made all the difference. He pretty much put DeAndre Hopkins in check, one of the best receivers in the league. I think he ended up with 60 yards, but I don't know how much of all that was even on Porter. But he was frustrated through that whole game. And the only flaw in his game so far is tackling, and that's not something I'm going to penalize a shutdown corner for too much. I mean, look at Deion Sanders is the most famous example of a guy who really never learned to tackle well, but he's the best of all time. He's the greatest of all time. So who cares? As long as you can shut. You don't have to tackle a guy if you don't let him catch the ball. So
that's right. That's right.
Yeah. So Patrick Peterson's the guy we've been down on all year. He made that one play this week, leading to the interception. That's the cornerbacks haven't been great at turnovers, but they have gotten some, and they have improved, I think. But when I guess I'm calling it a B-. I guess I'm saying they have improved, but there are red flags everywhere other than with Joey Porter Jr. right now. I'd say there.
Yeah.
Finishing up on that defense, we got the safeties. We both went C's last time around. It's tough, man. I think I'm going to stick with that C. Minka is a great player, obviously, but he hasn't had those flashy plays that we've been accustomed to this year. Keanu Neal's been all right. Both of them are now hurt. They're both missing the game this week. Casey, I think, is a little better than I would have expected. He makes some plays out there, I would say. I don't know what plays he's not making. I don't have that eye to tell you for sure. And there's definitely been some big plays in the secondary, so I can't say for certain that he's some elite guy. So I'll stick with a C.
Yeah, I agree. I haven't seen too much from the safety position. your guy almost had a play. Riley, one of the for a sack. The guy misses it. Misses the sack right there. You kind of need that. But yeah, with the injuries in the secondary, in the safety position as well, it's been killer. So I haven't seen too much. So I'm gonna agree. I'm gonna stay with the C as well.
And then we'll finish off with special teams talk. We both had B's. I think at the time we were still in the Gunner phase.
Oh yeah, the Gunner show. Oh God, the Gunner show. Yeah.
So now I got to give them an A-. Boswell would get an A. He's been an elite guy this year. I'm not the biggest Presley Harvin fan, but he has played decent enough that he's not going to pull that grade down too far. So I'll go with an A- there. I haven't seen too many holes in the kick return game. With the new rules, there aren't many kick returns going on anymore anyway. Mm-hmm. And then our kick return game, at least it doesn't suck now the way it was with that guy. So how you feeling?
Yeah, I agree. Boswell's automatic, and it's so nice to have him on the team. Without without getting screwed on that one field goal, he'd still be perfect. He's only missed one field goal, and that's only because of a crazy call that was called on at the end of the first half of that Jaguars game, but he has the distance anyway to make that 60 yards. I just think the weather conditions, made it a little bit difficult, but he's been automatic. It's been great to have him on the team. Again, the punt return and kick return haven't seen too much. I do think though, by the end of the season, I think Calvin Austin's going to take a punt return or a kick return to the house.
Nice
so,
see,
I think it's going to happen.
He's broken a couple for a little,
Yeah, and Harvin's he's been a decent punter for what we need right now going forward. But I agree, A- for the special teams.
So I guess we can wrap it up there for this week. We're gonna do our post game show on Sunday after the game, probably around 5:00, and then maybe early in the week we'll try to get a round table together of some guys and see what they think of our grades that we just threw out there.
Sounds good. Yeah, that works. I like it.
But I'll see you next weekly.
Sounds good. Have a good one, bud.
You too.